bloody civil war, unseen underground lifestyle, and a sudden thunderstorm all transpired within 120 days of the turkestanicus ant colony's survival. A brutal subterranean empire gradually revealed itself through every moment I recorded. When nature is turned upside down, what's really happening inside the world of ants? Welcome back to AntTrek. Day 1. From a tiny individual, the queen ant will be the source of an empire. To do this, I need to prepare a space for her. That's the empty space where she can freely choose where to build her empire. It simulates a nearly natural environment with all the necessary living conditions, setting the stage for the colony's explosion. Now, her life begins a new chapter. Instinctively, the queen ant quickly finds a safe spot and starts to lay the groundwork, digging tirelessly. It's as if she's unearthing the entire future of a kingdom hidden deep beneath that fertile soil. In just a few short days, the nest shape has taken form. Once it reaches a certain depth, the digging will stop. But just a bit of soil and a few dry twigs would make this place look pretty desolate. So, I'm setting up a paradise-like forest as a reward for the queen ant. Hope the queen won't be too disappointed with this new house. That's a door. Pretty nice, right? Next up, some cute little mushrooms, but they're poisonous. Then it definitely has to be soil, so my vegetation has nutrients to stay vibrant. Covering this is a layer of fresh green grass. I've made quite a bit of mushrooms, so you guys don't have to wait long. Now we just need the drum track. And done! Underground, the queen ant is still diligently caring for her eggs and larvae. The journey starts here. She'll never leave the safety of the nest, so she'll create worker ants to serve and protect her from outside predators. They get to work caring for the young and protecting the queen, and they'll also go hunting to provide food for the entire colony. To give the ant colony more nutrients, I decided to give them some red honey, and its sweet scent immediately attracted the entire ant colony. Honey is sweet and provides glucose and fructose, making it an excellent nutrient source for larvae and the queen. However, one ant ventured further than the rest, unaware it had stumbled into a perilous neighborhood. Just a slight touch on that carnivorous plant, there was no turning back. The little ant, completely unaware of the looming danger, just followed the sweet allure right into the carnivorous plant. And after a successful hunt, the carnivorous plant will wait for the ant to die and decompose. Then, it will absorb the decomposed matter. Meanwhile, the other ants have brought a ton of loot back to the colony. They're sharing nutrients with their sisters mouth to mouth. But what truly surprised me was discovering a red honeydew sac carefully stored within the nest chamber. The drop of honeydew lay there, neither falling nor soaking into the soil, as if contained within an invisible vessel. How could the ants store honeydew in such a sophisticated way? What did they use to hold that drop of honeydew in the damp and rough conditions underground? A small mystery, but enough to keep me wondering. Day 80. On day 80, the colony entered a new phase. The ant population had grown significantly. I suddenly had an idea to simulate a natural disaster, right in this very forest, to see how the ants would react. Thunder and lightning roared, a whirlwind picked up, and then the first raindrops began to fall. The rain wasn't just a sign from nature, it was also a precious source of life. This very water would help the ants maintain nest humidity, nourish larvae, and ensure the survival of the entire colony. But to get this, my ant colony had to go through a fear. The sudden rain caused them to quickly panic and retreat to their nest or relocate to higher ground to avoid being flooded. This unexpected rain allowed me to record the moment these tiny ants coordinated and adapted quickly to changes in their natural environment.
I'm freezing.
Come here. Let me give you a hug.
Guys, it's pouring. Get home. Why are you hugging?
Underground. They've established a tightly structured empire unaffected by natural impacts, where every individual operates in strict order. Worker ants focus on caring for larvae and keeping the nest clean, while soldier ants take on the role of protection and handling larger prey. The next morning, seeing the ants beginning to get hungry, I decided to intervene. I dropped in a cockroach to give them a chance to get some extra protein and also boost their colony's defenses, as predators could be eyeing the ants at any moment. Facing the cockroach, the ant colony quickly focused their attack on its weak points like the legs and head, where the roach's shell was thin and easily pierced. It didn't take long. The close coordination between individuals helped them efficiently take down their prey. Even though dragging the cockroach carcass back to the nest was quite a challenge, especially since it was many times larger and heavier than them, it was a worthwhile prize, a nutrient-rich feast awaiting the entire colony underground. However, the entire process seemed to have been noticed by another predator. It set its sights on the nutrient-rich meal, the ant colony, and even the cockroach. Without much hesitation, it lunged at the ants. Ants are naturally small but formidable insects, powerful due to their colonial strength. They teamed up and fought back. Wherever the gecko went, they were there, clinging on and biting. Even as the gecko thrashed, darted away and hid, they pursued it. No retreat, no letting go. Although they couldn't bite through the gecko's back skin, the ant colony used a tactic of biting its tail, as it was a softer and easier part to attack. Faced with the danger of being swarmed by many ants, the gecko had to give up and find a way out. Day 100. Everything seemed normal, but a type of fungus on the surface started emitting an alluring scent that attracted ants. They quickly became enchanted by the taste of these mushrooms, but what's beautiful is often dangerous. These ants paid a steep price for their enchantment with their lives. However, the ant colony, despite being in a strong growth phase, found its nest had become too crowded. In this situation, the strong prevailed, attacking the smaller, weaker ants. Healthy worker ants relentlessly bit the legs and heads of the tiny ants. This was their way of competing for space within the nest. If a small ant couldn't fight back, it would be eliminated. Faced with this tense situation, the ant army couldn't continue like this. The queen ant emitted a pheromone signal, ordering the ant army to excavate the nest to create more space. These were behaviors I witnessed firsthand for the very first time. Immediately, the ant colony returned to normal. They began expanding the nest, relieving the spatial pressure and restoring order to the entire colony. Nearly all the attacked ants died. Ants are among the few animal species that show respect for their deceased enemies, so the remaining ants built a graveyard in a corner far from their daily lives. day 120. However, on the upper level of the nest, a new danger was silently spreading. Worker ants simultaneously destroying the plants and moss I had meticulously arranged. The soil was churned up, roots lay exposed, and the nest's surface became a chaotic mess. Even worse, in that area, piles of dead ant bodies had accumulated, but they weren't just the remnants of life. The majority of them were individuals who had ingested toxic fungi, carrying uncontrolled pathogens. The dead ants, permeated by the poison, secreted a white liquid substance. From these very corpses, spores began to spread, creating an invisible but extremely dangerous biohazard zone. A silent threat was spreading within the nest, sowing death unseen by the naked eye. In just a short time after exposure, the ant began to exhibit abnormal reactions, violent writhing, disorientation, and chaotic, hyperstimulated behavior. This phenomenon is highly likely the result of parasitic fungal spores, such as Ophiocordyceps or Metarhizium, attaching to the ants' bodies and beginning to penetrate through their outer cuticle. However, if this disease source isn't discovered early, it could very well wipe out the entire ant colony. Faced with an imminent danger threatening the survival of the entire ant colony, I had to immediately implement rescue measures. The nest entrance was sealed at once to prevent the spread of the pathogen. Each dead specimen was carefully removed from the area with sterile tools. After that, I began isolating the ants that were on the surface, placing them into test tubes to prevent them from going underground and potentially carrying the pathogen with them. The entire inner and outer surface of the nest was disinfected with alcohol, then thoroughly wiped multiple times with clean paper, leaving no corner untouched. This was the first step in the effort to protect and restore the safety of the ant nest. The 120-day journey has come to an end. From a solitary queen, the Camponotus turkestanicus ant colony overcame countless challenges. Step by step, they collectively built a mighty empire deep underground, where order, discipline, and the instinct for survival were pushed to their peak. But this isn't the end. New threats, unseen enemies, and even natural disasters are poised to sweep away everything they've built. Will this empire continue to thrive or crumble in the face of even harsher trials? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to AntTrek to catch the next videos, where the underground life of the ant world continues to uncover untold secrets. Check out this video for more, and I'll see you in the next one.